Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah OJ and Happy New Year, you guys. I can't believe that it's 2022. Really doesn't feel like it, but hey, we here, we in this bitch. So yeah, it's the first week of the year and it's a little bit more eventful than I expected, I can't lie. So many things have been happening, to paraphrase Thames. So basically, Molly-Mae, who is an influencer who you guys will probably know from Love Island if you watch the show, but since then she has been pretty successful in her strides and secured a pretty big bag with Pretty Little Thing, and now she is working for Pretty Little Thing as the creative director. So Molly-Mae, in December actually, this was about a month ago that this interview even took place, so it's random that the clip is going viral now. Maybe because it was near Christmas time, people weren't so concerned with it, and someone was like, we'll bookmark that for the new year and we'll get her then, you know? Because I was like, this interview was like a month ago, but anyway. So she went on a podcast last month called The Diary of a CEO by a gentleman called Stephen Bartlett, who I've never heard of. Apparently he was on Dragon's Den. So Molly-Mae was a guest on this podcast, and he actually introduced the episode by saying she rarely takes interviews and speaks publicly. And I was like, I feel like people like that need to understand what it is they're doing and maybe realize that maybe you don't, because deep down you know you're not really somebody for speaking publicly. Because for me, the way Molly says things, and we'll elaborate as my video continues, the way Molly-Mae says things, I'm like, I feel like if it didn't occur to you that there was a better way to say that, then you probably should just stick to posting pretty pictures and, you know, helping Pretty Little Thing with their latest PU leather line. And that's not to shade her. I know it sounded like I shaded her, but I'm just saying that to say, stay in your lane. Like, just do what the girls want you to do. I don't think everyone is for the speaking on podcasts and public speaking and just doing a whole lot of talking. And I don't want people to feel like they can't be human beings and say stuff. But it's like, whenever you're saying something that could be deemed as negative, maybe just don't say it, because you might not be the best person to voice that opinion or to say it in a way that can be received in the way you want it. That's all I'm saying. But we'll get into what actually occurred. So I'm going to play the clip for you guys and we're going to talk about it.
Do. And I just think, like, you're given one life and it's down to you what you do with it. Like, you can literally go in any direction. And when I've spoken about that before in the past, I have been slammed a little bit with people saying, you know, like, it's easy for you to say that, you know, you've grown up and you've not grown up in poverty. You've not grown up, you know, with major money struggles. So for you to sit there and say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, it's not correct. And I'm like, but technically what I'm saying is correct. We do. So I understand that obviously we all have different backgrounds and we're all raised in different ways and we do have different financial situations. But I think if you want something enough, you can achieve it. And it just depends to what lengths you want to go to get where you want to be in the future. And I'll go to any lengths. Like, I've worked my absolute arse off to get where I am now.
Okay, so here's where I think Molly-Mae went wrong. Technically, okay, because in the beginning, in the clip that I got, the beginning is a little bit cut off, but the first thing she says is, we have the same 24 hours in a day that Beyonce has. And that is a popular saying. So I get that she probably didn't feel like she was really saying anything wrong by reiterating that and elaborating. But this is where she went wrong. It was where she said, I have had backlash for this before. She didn't say those specific words, but, you know, she said that people have said things before when I've said that, and it's like, who are you to say we all have the same 24 hours in a day? Like, you don't know that, you know, the backgrounds that people that come from, that growing up in poverty, etc. And she was like, yeah, but technically what I'm saying is correct, we do. That's where you went wrong, sis. That's where you went wrong. Because I really don't understand the notion of, people from different backgrounds specifically have warned me that this statement rings ignorant. And I have looked at their words and said, but it's true though. And then still proceeded to repeat the statement again. That's where you went wrong. You should have listened to your followers who were trying to warn you beforehand and say, sis, I get what you're trying to say, but it's actually not accurate. Because saying that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, technically, if we're going to go by the clock, of course we all have 24 hours in a day. But to make that statement, you're completely dismissing that you are in a position where you are privileged enough to take advantage of certain opportunities that other people haven't got. Like, they haven't got that privilege. Like, they haven't got those same opportunities to be able to. And a lot of people have are the factors in life that their 24 hours a day look very different to yours as a single white woman who is 22 years old and who fits the perfectly attractive aesthetic that people want to market. You're in a very different position as other people. Like, there's so many factors we can introduce. Like, a lot of people have, I don't even want to go into the ins and outs of it because I know I talk a lot, so I have to really limit myself with what I say. We'll be here all day. But, you know, skin colour, you know, being in from the family that you come from, having two parents that are both police officers. Like, you don't, like, certain things, the way like you speak and the way you come across to people, I don't understand how you wouldn't think about those things and be like, yeah, like, I'm definitely blessed to be in a different position than other people. Like, I feel like she could have made the point she was making without saying we all have the same 24 hours in a day, because that isn't really technically true. And I feel like to go off of and this is why it's a little bit sometimes when white women like subscribe to like the certain motivational things that are out there that come from black women that have worked really hard. And I know that might sound like, what are you talking about? But like, to say Beyonce has the same 24 hours in a day, that doesn't hit people the same, because we know Beyonce didn't come from that privilege. At the end of the day, Beyonce started out as a little black girl without those opportunities. She had a gift. She was very talented and very gifted, and she worked damn hard to hone those talents to be able to be in the position she is today. That's not quite the same as being like, oh, a little pretty white girl like Molly-Mae who just is like off the back of how she looks and how she speaks and how she comes across to her people, you know? So I know that that's a lot to say in the statement that you're making, but you could have just not said that part. That's my thing. You could have said, you know, if you really want something enough, I feel like you can just go get it. Like, I know that I'm in a position where I'm privileged to be able to, even like, if we're gonna even go into mental health, a lot of people come from families where they don't even motivate them to feel like they can go out there and do whatever they want. Even that in itself is a privilege that a lot of people take for granted all the time. So it's like, while what she was saying is correct, she could have just said, I wanted this so badly that I was willing to do anything to just go get it. And I feel like if you have that same mindset, nothing can stand in your way. She could have even said that and that would have been fine. Where she fucked up was saying, I have acknowledged the fact that I am from a different background and I have a different type of privilege. But what I'm saying is still correct. It's all the same. We all have the same 24 hours. We can all do it. Sis, that's where you fucked up. You're not even acknowledging the fact that there's so many people in a different position to you that are working their ass off just as much as you are, but it looks different from where you're sitting because they don't have the same opportunities as you. And it's that simple. And I don't understand why that concept is lost on people, because I'm seeing there's a lot of people saying there's nothing wrong with what she said. There isn't anything wrong with being motivated for yourself to do what you want to do in life. Absolutely not. But there is something wrong with dismissing the fact that you are privileged where you sit and everyone's 24 hours actually aren't really the same. And I feel like she got spurred on by that quote, and it was like, yeah, that quote worked for Beyonce, but it don't work for you. And it's just that simple. I actually listened to the entire episode of the podcast by Stephen Bartlett, and it was very interesting. I'm glad that I did, because it was really, I actually like certain things about her. Like, it's, for me, I love listening to people's stories. So it's so entertaining to me. So it was really interesting to hear a little bit about her background. I didn't know that both her parents were police officers and that she came from Hitchin. So certain things were very interesting. And I did appreciate the fact that she was honest about the fact that she didn't go on Love Island for love. I actually really appreciate that, because not really many contestants say that. I don't think I've actually ever heard a contestant say that. So I appreciated that realness from her. However, even outside of that statement that went viral, there were actually like I won't even say problematic because it's her life, but there were certain things she said that I was like, oh, that doesn't sound healthy. Like, do you know what I mean? Where she said that she doesn't have time for friends. Like, she just thinks that friends like just cling on to you and it's just all about her man and her money. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Like, I don't really understand why women promote that and normalize that and be like, and I get that, you know, when you're speaking on your experiences, you're not really always trying to be like, this is what all women should do. I get that. But it's a bit like, okay, that's cool and everything, but get some other friends. Like, get another activity outside of your job and your boyfriend. I would really recommend, because you see so many women. I don't understand how young women don't hear the stories of women that came before them, like old women that left that either left their husband or their husband left them, and they were finding themselves in a position where they didn't know what the fuck they were going to do with themselves, because that's all they had. Their whole life was their man. That's it. And obviously with Molly-Mae, she was talking a lot about getting to this bag. So I understand that she's not one of those women, that she's definitely like independently chasing her own paper, but it's essentially your job and your man. That's it. That does not sound like a healthy lifestyle. Get other friends and get hobbies, babe. Like, don't just be about your job and your boyfriend. Like, that does not sound healthy. And why do you feel like your friends only cling on to you? Maybe you need to get new friends. Because she did say she had a few friends and that's it, and she just don't want to get more. But I'm not gonna lie, if I were your friend, I feel some type of way about what you said. Because it's like, oh, so you feel like I just cling on to you? Like, that's the role you feel like I play in your life? Like, that's just it. That's how it sounded to me. And then she, for some reason, wouldn't admit that Love Island had played a part in her success. And I was like, I get what she's trying to say. Like, you know, I got these things. It wasn't just because I went on Love Island. It was because I was hardworking and ambitious enough to piece this future together for myself. I understand, like, she probably had a lot of these goals before she went on Love Island, so that's why she sees it that way. I totally get it. But babe, let's not fuck about. Love Island is a huge platform, and it would be naive and just stupid to sit here and say it had no contribution to your success. I don't think you'd be the creative director of Pretty Little Thing without Love Island, if I'm being honest. I don't think they would have just been looking at YouTube videos and be like, oh, who's the next, you know, young, white, pretty blonde girl that we can employ? Like, I don't think they would have done that. So unless you had done something else drastic, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that, by the way. You are the one who went on Love Island, and you are the one who made those opportunities happen. We don't know of any other contestants who are in such a position that's from Love Island. So we can still argue that you had a lot to do with it. No one is trying to take that away from you, but we can't not acknowledge the fact that Love Island had a little something to do with it. It's a major platform on a major channel. I don't understand why you would think it had nothing to do with it. But cool. I'm sure the Love Island producers fucking hate her. I'm sure they hate her, because I'd be like, who does this bitch think she is? Like, you were just a YouTuber like all the other bitches when we got you. So what do you mean? Like, and not in a rude way, but it is a bit like, babe, like, yes, you absolutely had these, you envisioned these things and you made them happen. I get it. But it's okay to acknowledge that along the way, certain things helped you. And what I don't understand is that later on in the episode, she mentions, because they're talking about getting on the property ladder at this point, and she talks about how expensive it is, like stamp duty and all of these things. And she's acknowledging like how expensive it is. And when she looked into it, she was like, I'm fortunate enough to be in the position I'm in. How the hell is any normal 22-year-old supposed to get on the property ladder when it's set up like this? And it's like, well, even you saying that, you're already implying that the system is rigged. So why is it that you can understand that when you're talking about, oh, because you're talking about something that you care about, but you don't necessarily care about other people's. That's how I took from it. Maybe I'm wrong, but because she cares about getting on the property ladder and about property in general, I feel like she can apply that thought process and understand that the way she said it didn't come off how it maybe she intended it to. Whereas when you're talking about other people's situations and other people's backgrounds, it doesn't care, you don't care as much that it rings ignorant or it comes off like, sis, really? Because it just doesn't bother you because you don't care. And that makes me feel like, yeah, you kind of ignorant. And I'm going to elaborate on why I think that she's ignorant, not just from this one clip, but from a couple things. So Stephen Bartlett tweeted in Molly-Mae's defense. Molly-Mae did an interview on my podcast. Yesterday, a soundbite from the interview went viral and she trended #1 on Twitter. Every newspaper covered it and MPs weighed in. I've had male guests say what she said, no one cared. But when Molly says it, she's crucified. Crazy. I've become very aware of the double standard that successful women face. If I interview a man, he can brag about money, take full credit for his success, and talk about cars. If I interview a successful woman, she's got to tiptoe around her success and watch her words. Gender issues aside, the standard we hold Molly-Mae to as a 22-year-old that's figuring out the world is absolutely outrageous. She once said she didn't like Italian food, it trended #1 all day and was written about in every newspaper, and she had to issue a public apology. 22. I love how he ended it with 22, like that's doing something. Can we please stop doing that? Acting like people are way younger than they are. 22 is a young woman, but she's a fucking adult. Stop all of that shit. I hate when people do that. 22, you're actually a big enough woman to understand when the words you are saying, you might not feel you might not feel like they're wrong, but it is. Like, do you know what I mean? You're old enough to understand that. Or not wrong per se, but like, it's hitting different to other people. You can understand that concept when you're 22, so fuck all of that. And I also hate when men do up fake feminism when you know you don't give a fuck about sexism. I don't know this Stephen Bartlett guy like that, but he does not give me the vibe of a feminist. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't believe that you are. So what the fuck is this then? Like, stop all of the whole... If men can do it, no, stop all of that. Because technically what you're saying is true, but it's not speaking to what everybody is saying. Regardless, like, we live in a patriarchal society where women are shat on for breathing. So yes, unfortunately, all the time, women can say things that men say all the time and no one bats an eyelid. That has been true forever and none of you men have given a fuck, so give it a rest. But that does not change the fact that Molly-Mae sounded ignorant in how she said what she said. It's that simple. And I thought it was very interesting what he said about the Italian food thing, so I looked into it. Do you guys want to know what she said about the Italian food? Let me tell you. She said, I absolutely love Venice, but one thing I will say about Italy in general, the food is actually shocking. So controversial, I know, but I've been a lot of times to different I've been a lot of times now to different parts, and I've tried a lot of different restaurants, and I'm always so disappointed. It's meant to be the home of pizza and pasta, and I really can't see how. Strange. Even this ice cream was grim. Molly-Mae is ignorant. I'm sorry. She's an ignorant person and she needs to work on the way she says things. She might not have the intention to come across that way, but she is ignorant. Because when I looked into this, it's so easy to say, oh, she did something like this and she was dragged for 4 days. Can you believe how ridiculous that is? I said, let me look into what she said and why she was dragged for 4 days, because I understand people, because I actually like people. That's the thing. I'm realizing that a lot of people don't fucking like people and don't care about why people react the way they react, so they just go off and assume it must be this and they go about their business. But me, when I see that a lot of people are reacting to something, I look into what it is, because a lot of people have shit to do. It's very rare that someone just goes in on somebody for the sake of it, just because there's usually an underlying reason behind it. Even if their approach is wrong, there's usually a reason why. So if you're being accurate by saying that people have dragged her for 4 days, I want to know what it is. So I looked into it and I was like, is there something wrong with giving your opinion on how you feel about the food that you're eating? Absolutely not. But the way you said it is very ignorant, and I don't understand why you would think that Italian locals wouldn't have something to say about it. It's very disrespectful to go to another country and make a post like that, knowing that you have fans all over the place. Fans that are in Italy as well. So it's like, I don't understand why you thought, like, it is still the home of pizza and pasta regardless of how you feel about the food, babe. It really is. And I don't understand why you would, like, you are, and even in that picture, like, you could see where that ice cream was from, where you were and everything. Like, you're shitting on that business. And I understand you can give your opinion, whatever, but I understand that sometimes giving your opinion might come with this shit. It's that simple. It's that simple. I really don't understand what you want people to say about it. And was it worth being dragged for 4 days about it? No. But it was disrespectful. You can say that you didn't like the food in any of the places you were at. That's fine. But... and even for me, because I love pasta. Pasta's my favourite food and I love Italian food. So I'm not going to lie, I feel like she's just that bougie bitch that can't be satisfied easily, because I find it very hard to believe that you went to several places in Italy and couldn't find one restaurant where you like the pizza or the pasta. I've been to Italy, you guys. It's lit. The food is fucking amazing. So and what pizza do you eat? I'm just like, maybe do you just have Domino's and Pizza Hut and you never go to Italian restaurants? Because I don't understand. Like, they're not going to do that, you know? Like, they're not going to do like a cheeseburger pizza with a stuffed crust if that's what you were expecting. I just don't really get what you were expecting from Italy, because I've been to Italy and the food is good. You can find restaurants where the pasta is... You couldn't find a good bolognese? You couldn't find a good carbonara, bitch? Really? I'm sorry, it doesn't make no sense to me. It don't. So do you guys see Shaughna's tweets? I actually like Shaughna. So I was like, yes, bitch. Shaughna, who was on Love Island winter season, so not the Love Island we had last time, the one before that, whenever year that was, the pandemic got my brain all fucked up, sorry guys. But Shaughna Phillips said, Molly-Mae is young, who's had a lot of success really quickly and not a lot of life. So I can understand why she holds those views. We all say things when we're younger and look back and think, well, that was stupid, lol, no shade, I want to live in her bubble. I thought that was a really nice way of saying, sis, you fucked up. Don't know why you said that shit, but I get it. That's where you're at. And yeah, do you, I guess. I thought that Shaughna was being really nice, in my opinion. For fucking whatever reason, Maura Higgins... Maura, who was on probably one of the best seasons of Love Island, a Molly-Mae season actually. I don't even know, I guess they're friends, but sometimes I think Molly-Mae, is cool that you're friends and everything, but a woman that was wanting to fuck my man that bad, like Maura was wanting to fuck Tommy on Love Island, even after I told her fall back, bitch, she could never be my friend in real life, but that's you. It is a reality show, so maybe that wasn't real, but sometimes I think on that situation, I think, Maura was so disrespectful. Why are you her friend? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you told her, leave Tommy alone. That's my man. And she still was like, no, if I can fuck him, I'm gonna fuck him. So, anywho's. Maura said, surely, you know, as someone in this industry, how lonely and scary it can be when the whole internet is slamming you. You're entitled to your opinion, yes. But I'm really surprised you commenting on this at all. Why? I can comment on whatever the fuck I like. Who are you? Like, what? You might be surprised, but you don't know me, bitch. Like, okay, be surprised then. The fuck? And then Shaughna replied, way too nice, I feel. 100%. That's why I tweeted this in her defense, because it was in her defense, because Maura obviously lacks comprehension skills and didn't pick up on the fact that she wasn't dragging her. Idiots. She's young and successful. It's not her fault she has those views. It is her fault she has those views, Shaughna. She has those views. It's her. She has control of herself. So, yeah, she comes from... she's a product of her environment, but she's a grown woman. She can always change. She can always switch things up if she wants to. Anyway, like I said, no shade, just gel. Lol. I love the honesty. Like, yeah, no shade. I just love to be in that bubble. I love to be in that world. It's like, what? Oh, you don't all have a pool? Oh, you're not all millionaires? Oh, okay. Sorry, sure. Because I kind of caught that. I was like, oh, so you're not all... I'd love to be there, but I'm not. But I'm just like, Maura, why are you here? Why are you talking? We haven't forgotten that you sent Lucy flowers because she was the victim in the One Day situation, of course. We haven't forgotten about that, bitch. So why are you piping up at all? You should have taken your own advice and shut the fuck up. Because Shaughna is a grown-ass woman that can say what she wants. And I feel like Maura was probably coming from a place that was like, we're all Love Island gang. What the fuck are you doing? You're breaking protocol. But it's like, bitch, I don't know you. Because I've never seen Shaughna and Maura or Molly-Mae mixed together in a way that I would assume that they're anything but people that have happened to be on the same show. So... why does Shaughna have to mimic what you think about Molly-Mae's situation? Why? Shaughna is a grown-ass woman. I feel like, as a matter of fact, doesn't Shaughna work for the government? So she knows what the fuck this shit is. Like, stop. Like, she's a grown-ass woman with her own beliefs. I feel like she actually was calculated enough, not calculated, that sounds like I'm coming from a negative place, but I feel like she was smart enough to try and word it in a way where, like, I'm kind of backing you, but I don't agree with what you're saying, which honestly, she doesn't need to do. Many people don't do that because most people that don't agree with you stay out of it. So the fact that she wanted to even back Molly-Mae, I think you should have just let her do that and minded your own fucking business. But you know, whatever. So there was that. She basically finished by saying, if there's one thing about me, you will never see me brag about things I have or be flashy or flaunt my earnings. I'm very aware I've had an absolute touch in life and it's not from hard work. What I do now is not hard work and that will never be lost on me. And I think it's interesting she said that. I feel like she more said that out of pressure from the, you know, her peers and the people around her that was like, what the fuck are you saying, bitch? But I'm not like of the opinion that I'm not going to say that because Molly-Mae posts pretty pictures, even though I kind of shaded her in the beginning of my video. I'm not going to act like because she posts pretty pictures, that's not hard work. Do you know what I mean? Like, it absolutely, let's put it this way. If certain things that were an avenue to success were easy, we'd all be doing it. The fact that you don't see everyone doing it should indicate to you that it involves a little bit of hard work. And that's as much as I can really say about it. I don't feel like Molly-Mae doesn't work hard. That's not my point at all. My point is she should acknowledge the fact that she's in a position where certain things are easier for her to get to the bag. I think she should remember that when she says things and when she wants to speak publicly. But I feel like where Shaughna made that statement, I 100% agree with, you know, remembering that it could always be worse, 100%. But I don't want to be that person that says, oh, all you influencers are just taking pretty pictures, you're not working hard, fuck off. Like, that's not, no, I don't agree with that. It comes with hard work, and I don't know if it's because I've obviously started making my own content and I've realised that with making your own content, whatever it looks like, it involves a lot of work. And maybe that's why, but I don't know. I'm never somebody that wants to dismiss anybody's hard work. That's just not me. So I'm not going to say that Molly-Mae don't work hard, but she needs to fix up. And her response will finish by saying what she actually had to say, because she did break her silence. And I say break her silence because they said it was her breaking her silence, but I feel like your publicist speaking for you is not breaking your silence because you're still silent. I haven't heard anything from you. I don't even know if you wrote any of this. So yeah, like, you haven't broken your silence, but her people have made an official statement. Okay, so you guys, I'm just going to read the summary on UK Gossip TV because I cannot be bothered to read this whole Sun article because they got all the bullet points here. So the statement approved by the influencer reads, Molly did a podcast interview in December about her own rise to success. If you listen to the full conversation and interview, Molly was asked about how the nature of her potential grows, about how the nature of her potential grows and how she believes in herself. If you listen to the whole podcast, if you're anything like me, you would probably just not like her more. But anyway, this part of the interview was discussing time efficiency relating to success. Molly refers to a quote which she says, we all have the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce. She was discussing her own experience and how she can resonate with this specific quote. That's why I said she would have been fine in her statement if she hadn't said, oh, I have been having backlash for this in the past and you don't understand this, you don't understand that, you don't understand coming from this place, coming from a place of poverty. And she was like, but what I'm saying is still correct. That's where she fucked up. That's why I remain. If she had not said that, there wouldn't have been anything wrong with her statement, because they're technically right in the sense that she was actually just trying to answer Stephen's question. I don't remember what the actual question was, but she wasn't really trying to shade people. Like, she was really trying to just speak for herself. I get that. But then don't fucking speak on other people's situations. Stop saying we all have the same 24 hours. That's where you fucked up. But anyway, her opinion on if you want something, you can work hard to achieve it is how she keeps determined with her own work to achieve more in her own life. That's what she should have said then, because that's not what she said. Molly is not commenting on anyone else's life, but she technically did. All personal situation. She can only speak of her experience. It's funny because their response is what I'm advising her. Yes, that is true. She should remember that, because she wasn't really just speaking on herself. By saying we all have the same 24 hours in a day, you are speaking on... People don't... You know what it is? Human beings make talking look easy. That's what it is. We don't all know how to talk. And I know that sounds crazy because, you know, most of us, we move our lips and words come out. We talk. But I promise you, putting words together is an art form. And I know that might sound crazy to a lot of people, but it is. And when you're saying certain things, you need to remember that. Some people don't know how to talk. And you should just stick, that's what I meant when I said you should just stick to posting pretty pictures. Sorry, you're not meant for talking. Because even in that statement with the Italian food, and you didn't understand where you went wrong, the fact that you didn't understand how you offended people, like, you're not meant for talking. And you either care enough to fix that or you don't. And if you don't, stick to what you know. It's that simple. Anyway, let me go back to the statement. It goes on to say how Molly is fully aware that everyone comes from different backgrounds, but was simply discussing her own journey. She acknowledges that everyone is raised in different ways and from different backgrounds, but her comments here are in reference to timing, hard work and determination in her own life. If you listen to this interview, you can see the whole conversation was about her own personal circumstances, how she has grown up, and this small clip in the conversation was talking about a quote that inspires her. Social media users have shared a short snippet from this interview with words such as, if you're homeless, buy a house, and if you're poor, be poor. These are absolutely not Molly's words, these are not Molly's thoughts, and this is not the meaning or thought behind that conversation. And I believe that. Obviously, that's satire and people fucking about, and yeah. Like, of course, no one was really saying, Molly-Mae said, if you're homeless, just buy a house. Like, of course no one thought that. But it's like, she doesn't understand where she went wrong. She doesn't even care enough to make a statement herself. Like, she can't even do a little video. Do you know what I mean? So to me that says enough. Like, cool, you don't care. But then just stick to what you do. And honestly, this will die down. She'll post some other shit in a few days and it will all be forgotten. Because at the end of the day, her fans are going to back her. I don't feel like anything will, and I don't even want that to happen. I don't subscribe to like the whole cancel culture. So it's not like I want anything to happen to her. I would just like people, if you're, and I'm going to finish by saying this, if your intention is not to disrespect other people and their journey, if your intention is not to hurt other people's feelings, that should be apparent when you're speaking. If it isn't, work on that. It's that simple. You either care about that or you don't. If you don't, you don't. But if you do care about what the things you're saying and your actions, how it might translate to other people, because I think that's the key thing in situations like this. People only think about themselves and their mindset and how they take things. They don't think about how other people in different positions might take it, and that's what's key. If you don't care enough, you don't care enough. But if you do, fine tune it. It's that simple. And you won't have these issues going forward. But anywho, that's my thoughts on the situation. And you guys let me know what you thought. This is my first kind of, gossip video. Trying shit out. So you guys let me know what you thought. I've got some more really fun content coming for you soon. So if you subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button, you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at IamHannahOJ. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts on what you thought of what Molly-Mae said. And that's it for now. Bye.